2015 has been a pretty crazy year for gaming, to say the least, and I mean that in a very positive way, because there were just so many games to play this year. I had no problem picking a top 10 here. The only problem I did have was rooting through all the different games and actually getting time to play them all. I have a little list here of games that I really wanted to play that I didn't get a chance to. Games like Grow Home, Ori and the Blind Forest, Axiom Verge, Tembo the Badass Elephant, Until Dawn, Soma, Fatal Frame on the Wii U, SteamWorld Heist, which came out recently, and The Witcher 3. Now, The Witcher 3 I did get a little bit of time with, but I just didn't get enough time to really include it in my top 10 this year, which is unfortunate because what I played of it is great. I just didn't feel like it was fair to the other games that I spent quite a bit of time with. So without further ado, here is my top 10 for 2015. Mortal Kombat from 2011 was a decent game, a good game even, but for some reason it just didn't grab me. I guess maybe it's because I don't play fighting games like I used to when I was young. I grew up really into everything Mortal Kombat. The fast, responsive action in the series was exciting, and the arcades were abuzz with all of these crazy rumors, including new characters and secret stages. And of course, the fatalities. However, over the years, with a handful of lacking sequels and with the action sort of dialing back the speed and fluid feel of the game, Mortal Kombat became more about the history than the series itself. Because of this, the idea that Mortal Kombat was returning this year didn't really excite me. Regardless, I got myself a copy and tried it out, and I found myself looking forward to playing the game day after day. If the 2011 Mortal Kombat was the stepping stone to get the series back to its original glory, then Mortal Kombat X is the top of the stairs. They've somehow found a way to bring the speed back to the game and bring it close to how the series used to feel 20 years ago. On top of that, they included a few things shrouded in mystery throughout the game to keep you guessing. Unlocking stuff in the crypt never gets old. Taking on challenges in the different ladders is a lot of fun with different mutators completely changing the fights. And the fatalities are probably the most graphic the series has ever seen. If NetherRealm can keep this up with Mortal Kombat, then I think the series is here to stay. The Batman Arkham series is a highly regarded third-person action series. Due to that, Arkham Knight had some stepping up to do to keep up with Rocksteady's previous Arkham games. The original Arkham Asylum took place in just a mental ward. Arkham City took place in, well, a city. And Arkham Knight takes place in Gotham itself. And this time, in addition to all the gadgets Batman normally has, he now has the Batmobile, and it turns into a tank! That's right, the Bat Tank. While Arkham Knight isn't my favorite Arkham game in the series, I still really enjoyed myself in it. From chasing villains down in the Batmobile, to destroying drones with the Bat Tank, to doing all the tried and true sleuthing around with all of Batman's wonderful toys, it's still a great game and a lot of fun to play. I just keep wondering how people want to keep living in Gotham. The place is nuts! I have never played a Xenogears or a Xenoblade game in the past, and I was ready to add this game to the not going to play list as well. However, something clicked when I was watching the gameplay for it this past E3. It looked, well, fun. One of my gaming resolutions this year was to not be afraid of and play more Japanese developed games. Well, here is the big daddy of Japanese developed games, and it actually looks fun. So I decided to give it a go, and I was not disappointed. The press, or the games fans at one point, touted that Xenoblade Chronicles X is bigger than Skyrim, Fallout 3, and some other big name combined. I don't know how true this actually is, but the game is absolutely gigantic and offers a ton of things to do. You can take out particular monsters called tyrants. You can find old pieces of the White Whale, a ship that crash-landed here. You can find treasure. You can fight even bigger monsters in a mech. You can explore and collect data on the land, and then you could even play some of the story if you feel like it, all the while having a ton of fun doing it. We all know by now that movie games are usually awful things. Awful things that should not exist, but they do to make a buck. However, Mad Max is different. It doesn't even follow the most recent Mad Max movie, and instead creates its own story. When I started this game, I had a very hard time putting it down. I will admit, getting adjusted to how the game flows as far as mission structure and upgrading the car is concerned took me a little while to adapt to. However, once you get the hang of it, there is no stopping Mad Max. Even though Mad Max may seem repetitive to some, I never got tired of trying to take down convoys of trucks, taking out witch towers, sneaking up and sniping guys in towers, and upgrading the magnum opus to its full potential. Fallout 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I was looking forward to Fallout 4 with almost a rabid desire. That said, many would think this sequel would be higher in my list for this year, but when it comes right down to it, Fallout 4 is an amazing game, but there were other games on my list that, believe it or not, actually distracted me from playing Fallout 4. We'll get to those in just a second because I don't want to fault Fallout 4 at all. It's a great game with a lot to do, but at times, I just couldn't help but feel like I'm playing Fallout 3 again. There are improvements here and there, like the dialogue interactions being simpler, and the general amount of bugs in this game don't seem to be as rampant as they were in Fallout 3. The Fallout charm is still there, the silly instances that happen still happen, the expansion of the Fallout story is there, and the freedom of choice makes its presence known. But when you cut right into it, both Fallout 3 and 4 are very similar. Again, this isn't a bad thing because Fallout 4 really is great and I do love it, but it did create an easy distraction to play other games when this came up, and it kept it from moving up on the list. From the same team who brought you Mad Max this year comes Just Cause 3 within a 3-month release window. It's a surprise to me that the same team developed and finished both of these games, and they're both good and on my Game of the Year list. The difference is that Just Cause 3 has the distinct pleasure of being one of the main games that distracted me from playing more Fallout 4 this year. You may be saying, well, you said Fallout 4 is just like Fallout 3. Why, Just Cause 3 is the exact same game as Just Cause 2. While you may be right, I never really played Just Cause 2, so this game was left open as a fresh experience for me. And wow, is it fun! I just had to get in there and liberate every province, glide down every mountain in my wingsuit, and make everything explode. Just Cause 3 is nothing but an explosive good time that I enjoyed from beginning to end. When Super Mario Maker was first announced, I had no idea what to expect, and it almost sounded like Nintendo didn't either. The idea was that you could basically make Mario levels. What else you were doing was a mystery. Over the next year or so before E3 2015, Nintendo definitely found its footing with Mario Maker when it was shown the second time. It looked super fun and I couldn't wait to play it. Once it released, I spent many hours crafting fun levels in all the different Mario games. Now, my levels aren't as elaborate as others I've seen, but that's part of the fun. Everyone can craft their own style of Mario levels and then upload them for all to play. I love jumping in and playing through a bunch of levels made by other people who took time to tastefully craft it for others to play. I also enjoy, in another way, the awful or super strange levels that people create. Super Mario Maker is kind of revolutionary in that it offers a streamlined level maker for Mario games that was made by Nintendo. It's great to see Nintendo being so open with using Mario in this way. As I mentioned earlier with Just Cause 3, it distracted me from playing more Fallout 4. Would you believe that a little game about a boy who is a box also played a part in that? I got a copy of Box Boy on my 3DS during Black Friday for around $3. I may not have played it otherwise. I had heard good things about it and I figured for $3, let's give it a shot. This ended up being one of the best cheap games I ever bought. When I first started the game, I didn't think much of it. Okay, it's a little puzzle game, neat. But the more I thought about the game when I wasn't playing it, the more I wanted to get back to it and solve more puzzles. The way they introduce new ways to use the box creation mechanic is so fun. One moment you're using the boxes to make a bridge over a pit, the next you have to use them to push yourself over the pit because there's no other way to get across it. And nothing can describe the feeling you'll have when you come across a puzzle that doesn't make any sense at all and you solve it. Box Boy is fun, inventive, and I wish I had more of it to play. I love Splatoon. Not only is it a new series from Nintendo, but it's fun, has a great style, and plays like a dream. I don't know that I've ever had more fun with close matches before. Most games I played, it was questionable right up to the last second who may have covered up more of the level with their color. Sometimes looking at the map, you thought you lost only to see that you won it by 0.2%. Then it was time for a quick rematch. These were the moments I loved. The use of all the unique weapons, coupled with the ability to become a squid and soar through your own color liquid super quickly, made this game feel so fast and fluid. Also, Nintendo has been supporting it all year with new weapons and levels being added regularly. Something Nintendo isn't accustomed to doing, but it's great to see that they are. I already said it once, but I'm saying it again. I love Splatoon. Who would have thought that a game I bought a month after it came out would become my #1 game this year? Through word of mouth on the internet, I heard this game was fun, yet I ignored it. Then after hearing a few personal friends say the same, I took the plunge, and 150 hours later, I regret nothing. I take it back. My only regret is that I didn't start playing it sooner. That was a whole month of Rocket League I missed out on! The explosions from a goal never get old. An accidental or purposely made amazing looking play still feels great. The feeling you get when scoring the overtime goal on your own against 3 other cars cannot be described. And the car customizations and game mutations are just icing on this rocketing, flying, exploding cake. This may just be cars playing soccer to some, but it's my #1 game this year. Well, there was my top 10 for 2015. I hope you all enjoyed watching, and thanks for watching all year. This is my last video for 2015, and makes you a little weepy-eyed, doesn't it? But you know what? Don't be sad, because there's going to be plenty of Game Grave coming in 2016. In fact, 2016 is only a few days away, and that means more videos immediately. So, again, thank you for sticking with me, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in 2016 on the Game Grave.